Basketball fans, welcome back. So there's been this cold war between the NBA mainstream media and the NBA players. And in this video, I'll be referencing Tyrese Haliburton's interview and Stephen A. Smith on First Take. So there's been this issue where the NBA mainstream media always has some egregious takes, and they always feel like they are on top of the NBA player. And the NBA player, sometimes when they get criticized, they feel like it gets a bit personal, and especially when they get get blasted on mainstream media, something that is being viewed by the whole world, and it's not taken too kindly from both parties, because on one hand you can see sometimes the NBA analyst, in this case Stephen A. Smith, can go overboard. We saw what he was doing, especially when it came to Bronny James, to the point where when he talked too much about Bronny James, LeBron James confronted Stephen A. in the middle of a game. So it was an insane situation, and I looked at that situation in depth, and I felt like there's nobody who protects the NBA player, especially when it comes to criticism. But luckily enough, this is not in the 90s or even in the 2000s. This is actually in the 2020s. So luckily we have players coming in with their own podcasts, their own shows. So they have created safe spaces for themselves to air out their views and opinions. So Tyrese Haliburton had some choice things to say. So I'm going to play Tyrese Haliburton's what he said in the interview. Then we're going to come back.
Kind of calibrating that balance between the playmaking and scoring in Joe.
Yeah, I think the commentary is always going to be what it is. You know, most of the time the talking heads on the major platforms, I couldn't care less, honestly. Like, what do they really know about basketball? But I think as a group, you know, and watching film myself, seeing where I can get better is important. And, you know, I mean, at a time like this, I'm not really on social media as much. I try to stay off it as much as I can, but, you know, you see it, and, you know, ESPN might be on in my house, and there it is. And, you know, it is what it is. But I think just seeing where I can be better is the most important thing. And having that reflection with myself. I talk a lot, obviously, with my trainer Drew and Coach Carlisle and all those guys, and it's a constant conversation of seeing where I can get better. There was adjustments that had to be made coming into today for me, and I thought I did a better job at that. And I'll watch them again and see where I can get better. But you know, I think there's going to be ebbs and flows. You know, I'm never going to be super great and shoot so many shots every game consistently. There's going to be games where I don't, and I got to be able to find the right balance between the two. But I mean, I think it's experience is the best way that I can learn from it. So seeing where I could be better is important through the first two games, and just trying to be better today. Taking what the defense gives me, trying to play the right way, and watch film, see where I can get better, and be ready to go for game 4. But the commentary is what it is at this point. It doesn't matter. We're here in the NBA Finals, 2 wins away from an NBA championship. So, just got to stay with it, put my head down, keep working. And as a group, we just got to keep learning from our mistakes, seeing where we can get better, and take it a day at a time.
So you can see Tyrese Haliburton came out and said some few things, especially when it comes to NBA mainstream media coverage, and also hinted at Stephen A. Smith a bit. And also, you could see in the first take, you could see the host, Stephen A. Smith, did not take too kindly to what Tyrese Haliburton had to say. And he wasn't even mincing his words, and he went ahead and so it was a crazy way in which Stephen A. Smith responded. So I'm going to play that clip, then we're going to come back.
That's a very ignorant statement on his part. You know what I'm saying? It is. First of all, let me be very, very clear. That's a very ignorant statement on his part. Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, Shaq, y'all, you, others, Kendrick Perkins.
I know. We all know.
I'm just saying. So what do you mean? Cats don't know. That's the media. That's who you talking about. Now you talking about me. I'm the guy that wanted him drafted by the New York Knicks. I'm the guy that said that the players were wrong to label him overrated. Did you remember that? So I give him credit. He was smart enough not to mention my name because he was assuming. Because had he mentioned me, I'd go in deeper, but I won't. What I will say to you is this. In the end, it just amazes me how cats can be sometimes. Win the damn chip, bro. Win the damn chip. Because the first 2 games of this NBA Finals Series, you had your moment with 0.3 seconds left. Other than that, you didn't play well. And Shai Gilgeous was giving it to y'all. He was averaging 36 coming into the game, reigning league MVP. That ain't on me. That's on you. You know, and oh, by the way, just in case he was talking about me, my brother, I'm not going away.
No, you're not.
I'm going to be here for a while. You read the news? I'm going to be here for a while. So next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that, I'm going to be here. And players far more accomplished and far more superior have made their efforts trying to call me out. How has that worked out?
When your eyes get
So
soft
I'm
like that,
gonna
I get really worried.
so
By the way, I'm really proud of you. You handled that very well. You handled that very well. You handled that very well, big bro. I'm going to give you credit for that.
That's all I'm going to say. I don't get the beauty of me, you know, unfortunately, a lot of guys aren't lucky and as fortunate as I am from this standpoint. They have to talk to you. I don't get paid to talk to you. I get paid to talk about you. So whether I speak to them or not or whatever it is, you don't stop this train.
Yeah, the train keeps moving.
And last thing,
It's a locomotive.
And last
run through
thing,
people.
it is a locomotive because, you know, we've been #1 for 13 straight years.
Oh, we got a we on that.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. It's a very, very sad and unfortunate situation. I mean, you would expect a little bit of a change in tact in how to respond to these, but classic Stephen A. Smith never lets his guard down, and even said that he's gonna be here for a while. So this has been it's been a very bad situation, and also sad as well, because there's been this fight between NBA mainstream media and the NBA players, especially when the NBA mainstream media analysts, the NBA analysts, don't understand that the words they have sometimes affect like the player, the way they play, and the way they are perceived, especially when they do it on national TV. And I will not have this video without mentioning Skip Bayless and his constant attacks on LeBron James. So I don't think Skip Bayless' show has a lot of ratings like that because of how he clings onto the LeBron GOAT narrative, the MJ is the GOAT narrative. And when LeBron retires, I don't know where he's going to make his money from. But hey, it is what it is. So there's been a lot of call-outs, especially when it comes to this situation. I mean, the players call out these analysts, the analysts call out the players, and it's been a back and forth every single time. And also, even the independent creators, just like myself, who go ahead and be objective, especially when it comes to talking about the sport, it also gives a very bad rap, and it gives a very bad, representation and connotation on how media is, because majority of the time, the NBA mainstream media guys, especially on First Take, they go ahead and try to cling on narratives that can be able to generate views. But if you look at independent creators who cover the NBA, they look at stats, they look at everything, they look at the game front to back, and they provide something of value to the casual fan who wants to get decent NBA analysis. So that is the big challenge that we have, because on one hand you have the NBA analysts who are chasing ratings and chasing who's going to say the most egregious thing that's going to attract the most views, and at the great cost of the actual player, in this case Tyrese. I know the Pacers lost in Game 4 as per recording this video, so a lot of times you see them getting a lot of stick, especially when it comes to their performance. But anything can happen in a game, especially in the biggest stage. And I'm not excusing the players, the analysts, or anything. All I'm just trying to say is there has to be a level of moderation, especially when it comes to talking about NBA players, talking about the whole game in general, because sometimes we can lose sight of what really matters. The casual fan just wants to watch an NBA game, and if they are not able to have the fortunate chance of watching the game, they want to have like some clear analysis of what really happened. But unfortunately, because of how money hungry ESPN, the networks are, they look towards ratings and what headlines get us the most views. So if we say that Tyrese Haliburton is overrated, that one gets a lot of clicks. So they're kind of shock jocks, and they're trying to cloud farm or content farm for their viewership so they can be able to justify to the advertisers. So it's something that is a very, very bad practice. And I don't think it really adds on or really even helps like the overall NBA landscape, because from where I sit, I prefer objectivity and people who just talk about things the way they are. If somebody has had a bad game, I feel like you should, go ahead and call them out, but not make it personal. That's what Stephen A. Smith cannot be able to differentiate, because if you have a bad game, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Maybe they can be able to go ahead and fix up the bad game that they had and also have a good game. But sometimes these NBA analysts go overboard and they really, really, key in on the athletes. And sometimes I feel for them, because some of the athletes came out as mental health advocates. You could see DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Love. Sometimes it really gets to them. And through the years, some people can't be able to handle it. And you could even see LeBron James trying vehemently to protect Bronny James in that situation, who was getting called out by Stephen A. Smith on Fast Take, to the point where LeBron James was angry, confronted Stephen A. Live in a game at the half, I believe. So it is something that it doesn't reflect it doesn't give a good reflection or representation of how the league is supposed to be. But hey, I mean, it's a tough one, and it's a delicate balancing act that not many people are able to understand. I know the networks try to generate money from advertising, but they shouldn't do it at the expense or at the great cost of the athlete, because that is the main problem that we have right now. So Tyrese, was he right on what he said? Would you agree with what Stephen A. Smith had to say? Because Stephen A. Smith has been outed most of the time as a clown, somebody who, cloud farms sometimes. He likes the beefs so that he can be able to generate the most viewership and relevance like that. And considering the fact that Stephen A. has signed one of the largest contracts in TV history, he's earning about $20 million a year. He's signed for 5 years, that $100 million deal. So somewhat ESPN have given him the green light to talk the way he feels like, provided he gives them the ratings that they want. So do you think that it's something that is okay? Because honestly, it gives a very bad vibe and taste to players, the athletes, the casual fans, even the diehard fans who watch the games, especially the guys who attend the games live. Yeah, it's a bad look, especially. Also, just recently we saw Stephen A. Smith. He got caught watching in the NBA Finals, and he was watching the game. He was playing solitaire. So that one added on to like the overall hate that people have for Stephen A. So a lot of people don't like his tactics. A lot of people don't like his methods. But hey, I mean, at the end of the day, he's out there to make money. But he should go about it in the right way, in the ethical way possible. So yeah, it is what it is. So do drop me your comments down in the comment section down below. Honestly, I don't know how this video is going to be received, but hey, I just said I have to go ahead and talk about this because I saw this situation happen, but I said I'm going to schedule it. But I just said, you know what, F it, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. So like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, get notified so that I'm going to be I'll go ahead and release content of this nature. And I'm out. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace out.